Hi there, welcome back. Today's discussion is really just discussing on the fly return on investment and how these things actually work in the bigger scheme of things. If it looks like I've just woken up, it is because I have, and generally I have the most clarity when I've just woken up because it's when the data's no longer trolling through my mind at the end of a day, but at the beginning of a day, it's all fresh start. So this morning, when I woke up, I had this thought of what's happening in the world, and I try not to get too sucked into what's going on because obviously there's a lot that could be negative and pull me into a downward spiral, not really motivate me for the day ahead. However, the one thing that did pop into my mind was more around how we support or not support companies, and there's a lot of speaking and talking about the polling stations and voting and all the rest of those lovely things. Now, for me, this is an outdated system. It doesn't really work for me. I don't believe in these things. I know and I understand, and I don't want to stand on any toes here, but I know that we obviously need to put our vote somewhere and we need to vote for somebody or some party, but there doesn't seem to be a lot of options. And for me, when somebody comes out with a more compassionate, empathetic, working for the people view, and it's truthful and it is really clear, that would make a whole lot of sense to me. But I don't think we're quite there yet. And the discussion that I was thinking of, or the part that I wanted to share, was more around how do we actually vote? Because a lot of what we're doing every single day is actually voting. And what I mean by that, so if you are buying anything, and I mean literally anything, you are voting for that company. So if you go to the shops and you buy vegetables and you buy condiments and you buy whatever you buy, right? Every single time you make a decision, you purchase from that company, you're voting for that company. So the easiest way to make sure that you are aligned and are supporting the right causes is obviously to do a lot of research on all these companies. And it is a real challenge because we know that there's very few companies that ultimately own a lot of the companies, right? Even when you think you're supporting the opposition, invariably when you look at the shareholding structure, which I always encourage people to do a lot more research. I know it takes time, but it is important to put your money where your mouth is, literally, to then choose a company that aligns with a lot of your principles. Now, I do really find that very challenging at the moment, which is why I do believe that going off grid as much as possible, which is also a real challenge, from water to power to food, is probably one of the best feeling things one can do if one can do that. Well, do it incrementally. You can do it in stages. We did it in a previous property with very, very, very little resources, very few things. We were actually at the bottom of a cycle of startups, and there wasn't any money. So anybody can do it. It's just a matter of aligning yourself, finding the right people, like-minded people. There's people who share seeds and stuff out there. Anyway, back to topic. So companies are always looking for return on investment, and if they don't get the return on investment, which is what shareholders are looking for, then obviously they won't put money into something. So when you're buying something from a shop, you will only buy things that are making money for companies, otherwise they wouldn't exist, right? And I think that with what's going on in the world, that's quite an obvious thing if you're wanting to support companies from certain areas or certain countries versus others, and also from an environmental point of view, those that are really looking after the environment and not just paying lip service. Again, a lot of research. And there are websites out there that you can go to. I don't have any offhand right now, but you can research that online using DuckDuckGo for reasons of privacy as well, because I don't like all the marketing that gets thrown at me from the likes of Google and all the rest of them. I prefer to be a person who chooses what I want marketed, and these things tend to listen to you as well, because I have it on my phone and then suddenly I get an advert when I've just spoken to somebody about something. So again, choose wisely. There's a lot of research that needs to be done. I hope you find some form of value. So when you go and you buy something next time, you're actually voting with your pocket. Research that company. If you're looking for, again, healthier options, you generally would go to a local market or local organic shop. I know it might seem a little bit pricier, but it's just about demand, supply and demand. Again, it's all financial, it's all economic, right? So if you are supporting them, get others to support. It helps out, it will reduce prices down the line. You got to remove all the middlemen as much as you can, because there's people making money on people making money, and get to the source of where you're buying stuff from as well. Very important. And it also doesn't have all the chemical stuff. You got to do all that research, because you might not be paying that much for whatever you're buying now in foodstuffs, but if it's got all the stuff in it that you shouldn't be taking, again, you're going to be paying for it down the line in one form or another. So healthier, if you can't grow your own, which everybody can actually do. They say you can grow enough food the size of a door to feed a family of 4. Obviously, you need to rotate, and there's another lot of information there, which maybe I'll share in another couple of videos. Otherwise, go check urbanfarmstall.com. It is one of our other sites that we established to help people get off grid. We are still busy ramping that site up with more information. The idea is to modularize a lot of the training so that people can actually help themselves as much as possible. To really live a healthier, more rewarding, more aware, more conscious, more responsible life, which is actually what each and every single one of us should be doing. I'm Rex. Thanks for listening. Have a fantastic day further.